G'day folks, welcome back to the channel for the start of a new playthrough. Now if you were watching the channel update video I put up a few days ago, you will know this is going to be an Arcanist. What you will not know, until now I guess, is this is going to be a skater. What is a skater, you might be asking? It's basically a Via's Might character. So the idea is you use a movement skill for your damage, and you go around really fast, very zoomy, and the damage is pretty good from what I've seen. Now, I have never played a skater before, so I am opting to follow a guide for this one. I will be following the ATV, the Aetherfire Templar Vanquisher, by Crate Forum user Mystery Meat, and I will be following it pretty closely because, as I said, I haven't played one of these before, and I don't want to make mistakes. So, as with all of my playthroughs, this is going to be a hardcore and veteran playthrough. This character's name is Social Anxiety because he's a bit of a zoomer. Let's get underway. Now, Mystery Meat has you level as an Arcanist starting from level 1, and then we'll pick up Oathkeeper later on. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I know a lot of you were expecting this to be a caster. Don't fret, the caster is coming. I'm actually going to be doing 3 series at a time, which may be a mistake, but we're going to try it, see what happens. This particular playthrough is going to be semi-newbie friendly. I will try and explain what I can when I can, but I'm not going to be doing any of the lore stuff as usual. I'll be skipping cutscenes and such, and encouraging people to play along and watch the cutscenes themselves. So we're starting as an Arcanist, 2 points in the bar, 1 point in Iskandra's Elemental Exchange, which I'm going to chuck on here. So our main goal before getting to level 5, or at level 5 even, is to kill Kaizog. Kaizog, ideally I guess you would want to be level 5 to fight him. But we want to find a weapon component, and we want to get as many points as we can into Electra's Flash Freeze. So normally I say you should put 1 or maybe even 2 points per level into the bar, and then maybe 1 or 2 into a skill. For this playthrough we are going to be getting the bar to 5, and then we're going to be maxing Electra's Flash Freeze. Mystery Meat does it that way, and actually I would kind of agree with that. Electra's Flash Freeze really benefits from having a lot of points in it. It gives you a higher level of damage over time, and it also increases the radius of the AoE. So you really want to max it as fast as you can. We got a cast speed two-handed sword. Also, turning white items off is never a bad option, and making your minimap bigger is also never a bad option. So for the start of this playthrough, probably for the first, I don't know, 10 levels, we are going to be relying on left click a decent amount. Because Electra's Flash Freeze does require 5 points in the bar to access it, we will not have it till next level, so we're going to be left clicking for a little while longer. And when we do get it, it starts out kind of, so-so. It's not amazing right out the gate. Once you have, let's say, 7 or 8 points in it, it actually does become pretty good. I'm picking up Almond's Axe here as well, because at some point I will be mostly swapping to casting. That point may be when we kill Kaizog. If he drops his MI, I will be using it, but we will see. Do try not to get surrounded. I know that's sometimes easier said than done, but if you can keep the number of zombies hitting you to a minimum, then the fact that you are a squishy Arcanist instead of something more durable like a soldier will not be such a big problem. Okay, so we just got a superior scrap metal great axe of ruin. As you can see, that plus 12 damage per second means it is straight up better than Hevel's Greatsword. We don't need the casting speed, so I'm just going to use this one. Let's go ahead and pick up these books, and then this way is probably blocked. Yep, I can see on the map it's blocked. Okay. So we're going to go across the bridge, eat the lore notes. As I said, if you're a new player, feel free to play along, and I will try and explain things as I go as much as I am able. But I do recommend not following a guide for your first playthrough, actually. Just kind of wing it, and then when you run into a wall, which you will, then go look up guides. So definitely just kind of wander around, have a look, read the lore notes. The lore notes are really good. They really do make this game. Right, we are taking Electra's Flash Freeze on our right click, and we will be left clicking to finish things off. When things come out of the ground, well, I just killed that, let's try that again. When things come out of the ground, if you chill them while they're still coming out of the ground, they will only be slowed, they won't actually freeze. If you hit them with the Flash Freeze once they are already out of the ground, then they will freeze. So, see, they just completely stop moving there. Let's have a look at that weapon. Considerably worse. That's fine. So with 3 points, I need to hit things once in addition to freezing them. But you don't even really need to use the Flash Freeze at this point. You can just left click things, it's fine. Even on Veteran, you don't take that much damage unless you get surrounded. So there we go, froze them solid, and you just get to watch their health tick down. Ideally, like I said, I want to be level 5 before fighting Kaizog, because at that point we will have enough skill points in Electra's Flash Freeze to just do that, and then they will actually die instead of, well, they all mostly died. But you will guarantee that they will die with one cast instead of maybe you have to hit some of them. Okay, wait for them to get fully out of the ground and tell everybody to stop. Looks like it's going to be very close as to whether or not we actually hit level 5, but there we go. There's probably another group in there that we would have been able to fight before we had to fight Kaizog. So, Electra's Flash Freeze up to 6, and then do remember to spend your points. I'm going to forget these a lot, but it's all in physique, basically. And I don't think we have any better weapons, so let's go on in and say hi to Kaizog. Now Kaizog, once you know the fight, is actually decently easy, I'll say. Because you can basically just hold your left click on him, and as long as you have the Flash Freeze to kill the zombies he summons, then you will be perfectly fine. I'm going to wait for this zombie to get up here. I'm going to whack him, and then we'll head down. Oh good, he's bringing friends. You can see Kaizog the Reanimator up there in the corner. Okay, let's reset the camera. And let's go get him. So Kaizog will always spawn with one soldier, and you want to target the soldier as soon as you can, because the soldier will charge you, and the soldier has a big wind-up attack that it uses at the end of the charge, which will really hurt if it hits you, so you want to single him out early. And you also want to wait until there's a few zombies to use your Flash Freeze. You were using that skill to keep the area clear, so one zombie, I'll just auto-attack it. These green guys will also throw more of the crystals, so you want to target them as well. But you only get the one soldier at the start. Once he's dead, that is the major threat of this area taken care of, and you can more or less just kill Kaizog with your left click. So hopefully he'll drop his MI. Not today. That's fine. So, a decent amount of yellows now. Just missing gloves, shoulders, and a belt. So we'll leave the magic items on for now. But I will be looking to turn those off fairly soonish. I think as soon as I have a yellow item in every slot, that'll go. So as with Kaizog, the same with the crystals. Left click crystals and use the flash freeze to kill off all of their friends. You know what, we're going to use that hat instead. Now, as far as your devotions go, your first devotion is going to be the imp here. You want to get a head start on that 8th fire. So, actually, what does Mystery Meat say? He says, yeah. So we're going straight into the imp. What you could do, you could take the blue and get 3 points in Sailor's Guide for the 10% move speed. You could start with the red and get 2 points in the Jackal for the total speed. That's actually a really good way, just in general, of doing your first points, because you're going to get this right at the end of Act 1. And move speed and total speed are both really good for just making stuff faster. So if you take 1 point in the red and then 2 points in the Jackal, or even finish the Constellation and then remove the red, it'll take the same amount of points. You will actually, these are good stats to have. Then you finish this one off, and then you start on Aether Fire. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow the guide. But that is an option, and it will speed up the early game for you, if that's something that you're interested in. I definitely recommend that as your first 2 constellations for pretty much any character. It's not a bad idea for any of them. Now, I'm nearly going to die here, but the idea was that I was going to get all of the casters, and I was waiting for those zombies to finish crawling themselves out of the ground. You do have to be careful as an Arcanist, you are squishy. Now, I just picked up... not that one, where is it? There we go. Picked up another cracked lodestone here. You definitely can use this. This will give you a lightning nova, so basically the same as this, but much smaller range, and it's lightning damage, and it's spammable. I'm going to hold out for a... what are they called? Searing Ember, I think it's called. The fire one. And I'll show you why in a second here. So, on Electra's Flash Freeze here, you'll notice the bottom line there. Minus 76% fire resistance. That means anything we can chill or freeze, because if they're immune to being frozen, this spell will do literally nothing. So, Electra's Flash Freeze is quite good for clearing trash. But as soon as you find a boss, it will do literally nothing. And I don't just mean that this is a bad spell, it'll do less damage. I mean this will do absolutely nothing. This boss is freezable, so it will work nicely on him. But for something like Krieg at the end of the act, you can cast the spell on him. He will take 0 damage, he will not be slowed, he will not lose any fire resistance, you will not pass go, you will not collect $200. This skill is really, really bad for bosses. I'm just going to ignore this guy for now. I will come back and kill him later. I don't really have a super strong single target option without that Searing Ember, and I haven't found one yet. No, I haven't yet. So I need to find one of those. Usually you're going to find them in tree stumps and such, so maybe I'll go back here and kick over a few tree stumps. I think there's usually one down here. Not today, since I'm making a video and talking about it. That's fine. We'll just continue into the White Mire. The other thing I could do is I could put a chilled steel on my weapon, and that will give us an okay spell to use for single target, and it would be cold, so it's kind of thematic. We're doing cold damage at the moment. There's our Searing Ember. Okay. It was worth it. So that Searing Ember gives us the Fire Blast skill. You'll see it also adds some fire damage, both flat and percentage, and it'll convert some of the physical damage of our weapon into fire. But it's definitely worth getting a component that does fire damage or lightning damage. You could use the Cracked Lodestone as well. Because we're going to start running into swarms of bees and these guys, but specifically the swarms of bees do not care about your cold damage. They are completely immune to it, so you need to have an option to kill them. And your option could just be, I'm going to left click them. It's a perfectly valid option. I like the fireball option though, because it is also good for killing those zombies with a ton of health. You can please stop casting at me. Right, so the other thing, I picked up a Slith necklace. We want to collect 3 of those and go and turn those in for a ring. It's one of the better rings available to you early on. Let's just run around here for a second. Make sure we hit those 2 blue guys with this. Okay, no more necklaces. The blue ones are the ones that are going to drop the necklaces for you. And like I said, you want at least 3, and as many as 9, but 3 for normal. So as you can see, the minus cold resistance on these is pretty nice when you're casting the fireball at them. The only thing you may struggle with is energy early on. I have the Elixir of Spirit bound to a key, so actually I usually leave the tonic of healing, or of mending here, so I can see the cooldown, and then I put my, or I take the Elixir of Spirit off of my bar, because I want the room. If you go into your options here, into key binding, go about halfway down, you're going to find, where are we? Here we go. Drink energy potion. I have it bound to E. I think it is bound by default. I think it might be E, but whatever it is, I have it on E. Put it somewhere that's nice for you. I also have Q for my health potion, so I don't need this here to actually use it. I just keep it there so I can see the cooldown. Other good keys to mess with is pickup. This will allow you to pick items up off the floor without having to click on each individual one. When you're in a pile of like 9 or 10 rare items and you just want to pick them all up to sell, it's much better to spam R than it is to have to click on each individual item all at the same time. And the other one I recommend binding is toggle hide all items. I have this on Z or Z, depending on where you are in the world. But just make sure this is bound to something, because it will become a problem later on, where there is so much loot on the floor that you won't actually be able to see what's going on. And you'll notice the fireball has damage over time as well, which is quite nice. So I'm going to round all this up, and I'm worried about taking too much damage there, so I'm going to blow them up early. Right, that's level 8. I'm going to double check with the guide what we're doing next, but I believe we're just putting points in the bar. Where are we? Arcanist. Yes, we are just putting points in the bar now. As I said, I haven't played a skater before. I have definitely watched videos of them, and they look like a hell of a lot of fun. So I'm keen to try one. As I said, the caster will be coming. I think I'm going to do 3 series. I don't generally like to do that because it means that you're going to have at least 3 days between episodes. And that more or less means... Okay, so each one of these episodes is about... Or each one of these series, I should say, is about 40 to 50 episodes long. And if you're only getting 2 per week, that means you're looking at 4 or 5 months for a full playthrough, which is a long time. But I really, really want to do a caster, and I also really want to do this one as well. So I think I'm going to just do it. All right, so I've only got 2 energy pots left, so I want to make the most of my energy. Say as I nuke the tree. I do want to reduce his cold or his fire resistance before I spam the fireball. Also, that thing he does where he throws those 3 projectiles at you is the thing you want to avoid, because it'll slow you down and make you more likely to take more damage. I definitely want to get the Slith Ring, even if only for the energy resistance on it, but it's a really good ring. It has a lot of good stuff on it. Let's see if we can take him out. There we go, good. Okay, he didn't drop his hat, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. Let's have a look at our gear. Usually around this point is when I start looking to turn off magic items. I'm missing shoulders and a belt. I may end up just buying a belt. Yeah, I think we're going to turn the magic items off here. And I want to find a pair of boots with run speed on them. Doesn't look like I have one yet, and basically none of the rest of this is anything I care about. I am going to... Hang on, am I going to? I am going to. I'm going to swap that weapon in. If you have a look at the fireball, you'll see it does 20% of main hand damage. And actually, if you go to page 2 here, and put the Fire Blast on your weapon, or on your mouse, you'll see Fire Blast here. So it's actually a decent upgrade. Not amazing, but decent. That is one way you can kind of check how much damage you're actually going to be doing with a particular skill or item change. So keep that in mind. Right, we have Milton's Amulet, and we have a bunch of stuff to turn in. I'm just going to go over this way, actually, and kill the other zombie, the fire zombie. And then we're going to go back to town, do a bunch of quest turn-ins, and I'm going to see if I can find a belt and maybe a ring with some energy regen on it. I also need to kill some more of the Slith and get some more necklaces. Unfortunately, not today. There's our next Searing Ember, so when we get a weapon upgrade, we're good to go. Okay, that's the end of them. As you can see, with max points in the flash freeze, we hit, I mean, not exactly the entire screen, but basically the entire screen. The downside, of course, being the mana cost is ridiculous. And we are, unfortunately, completely out of mana. There's not a huge amount I can do about it, either. Alright, we're going to make a quick pit stop in town. And we'll be back. Okay, so we turn in Kaizog, pick up Harmon's quest here. He'll give us a bit of scrap to help out. We talk to Kasparov here. He will give us XP, which gives us another level, but he'll also give us another skill point. As far as where our points are going, everything into the bar until we get to Inferno. Yes, we'll confirm the changes. We don't have a second point yet. Let's have a look for Energy regen. There are no rings. Okay, I spelt it wrong, that's why. 1.7, that's some health and energy. I'm looking for specifically energy regen. I don't really care about health, although it is nice to have. Let's go ahead and sell all of this. I'm going to hang on to Carver's Conjuring Bone. It is a really nice offhand, so I'm going to hang on to that for now. The Reckless Guardian that it calls forth is a pet, and I mean, it's not amazing for a pet, but it can tank a little bit for you. The main point that I want to make about the Reckless Guardian here is actually the last line down there. That Frenzied Roar will heal you and also give you 10% total speed. So this is really good. +3 regen. I really like this one too. That's a ton of extra energy. The percent spirit is even more energy and stuff. And then it has flat energy regen as well. So I really like that, but unfortunately can't actually afford it. So I think we'll just have to go with maybe this one for now. And we do have a belt available, which is quite nice. Can we still afford a ring? No, we can't. We are broke. One thing we can do is sell off those. We're still not going to be able to afford it though, so I will buy those back. Let's go let ourselves into the prison. We have... I didn't rescue Faldus, so I'll have to go do that at some point. Milton Hart's sister here will give us an amulet if you don't already have one. The amulet I have has some regen, but it's less than this one, and this one has other stuff I like as well. So if you don't already have a better amulet, do use this one. It is decent. It's not amazing, but it's decent. And that will allow me to sell that amulet there, which will probably still not be enough to buy anything. No. Okay. So we're up to date on our quests. Let's go ahead and kill that zombie. There we go, he's dead. And as far as loot goes, we got basically nothing. I don't think I care enough to bother with that. I'm only going to pick up rares from this point forward, I think. But I will leave all of the rares on. Had some issues with bits in a previous playthrough. Alright, so from the Foggy Bank, we go over here to the left. There's going to be a whole bunch of Slith. I really enjoy rounding these guys up and just blowing them all up in one go. You can do it much more piecemeal if you want. And do also be aware that this is actually pretty dangerous to do it this way. To have all of that chasing you, if you don't get all or most of them with this spell, that's a lot of angry Slith to play with. And you are squishy. Let's just see if we can't get the rest of them with one cast. There we go, and there's our 2 more Slith necklaces. So I'm going to go in here and get the Devotion Shrine, but then we are going back to the White Mire to get our ring. Now, as you can see, the Desecrated Shrine, the Devotion Shrine, is just here. This one is one of the fighting ones, so you turn it on, it'll spawn a bunch of monsters, you kill them, and then you get your Devotion point. You know what? I shouldn't have done that. Alright, here we go. So we press start, we come over here, and everybody stop. There we go. So all of the loot is magic. And it's worth checking the jewelry, I guess. You know what? Those are 1 and 2 slot items. I'll take them. And we're going to start on the Imp. Realistically, the Aether damage is not something we care about. The fire damage we do like, and the the proc at the end here, this is what we're after. This is going to be the majority of our damage once we actually start using Vaya's Might. There is one more stop we need to make before we head back to the White Mire to get our Slith Primal Ring. And that is to go out onto the little island and get Isaac's stash. I also want to make sure I got all of these Slith, though I do not need them anymore. I do like XP. So if you're looking to get to Isaac's stash, you go to the Foggy Bank and you run left onto this island. Every single time you come to this island, this stash here, Isaac's stash, let's just get rid of this guy first. This stash will be here. You will get a rare pair of shoulders. These ones are ancient. They are always going to have physical damage retaliation on them, but these are a decent option when you compare them to an empty slot, which is what we currently have. Right, back to the White Mire. So once you have your 3 Slith necklaces, you want to go to the White Mire Rift and just hug this left side here. And keep hugging it until you find a merchant. So you can see him there on the map, but you just come up here. This guy Torvin here will have a quest for you, top option, bottom option, and he will give you a Slith Primal Ring. Also some XP, and I got a level out of it, and he will give you the Rover's Reputation, which puts them on your list, and you can now start earning reputation by killing Arcovian Undead, which you're not going to see for a while, and quests and bounties, which you're also not going to see for a while. Right, I think at this point I don't really care about jewelry. I think anything here that I found that was actually worth buying is going to be too expensive for me to afford anyway. Actually, we don't have a ring, do we? I definitely want to get some energy regen. And that ring's not awful either, but I can't afford it. You know what? Let's just take this one. It's 400 bits, and it'll give us another 1.7 energy regen, which is definitely something I want. Right, so Arcanist, we keep putting points in the bar until we get to Inferno. You could put a single value point in Inner Focus and Arcane Will. Arcane Will is technically a circuit breaker. It's really bad for a circuit breaker because all it gives you in terms of defense is defensive ability. You take this for extra damage, not for save my life. This is not going to save you. Inner Focus is really good for the percent spirit and, more importantly, the percent offensive ability. You could also take a value point in Overload, again for the offensive ability. The Aether Resistance is a nice to have, but otherwise no. Maven Sphere and Mirror are also very good defensive options in a hardcore playthrough. If you are not familiar with the game, I would highly, highly recommend taking both of these and probably even maxing Maven Sphere fairly early on. Right, let's go and rescue Faldus and also kill Pharos. So, if we run just to the south of the Lower Crossing Rift and head over this way, we will find a building with a man sitting in it crying. Let's just tell those no. If you put your mouse at the bottom of the top option and just spam the button, you will send him back to Devil's Crossing. And the other thing I wanted to do was again come back to the Lower Crossing Rift, and we're going to head over here to the right this time, because first time through I didn't kill Pharos the Rotted, I just ran away. Very early level Arcanist is quite frankly awful to level. I think the only class that's worse to level than an Arcanist before level 10 is the Oathkeeper, which is the other mastery we were going to be using. Where's Pharos? He probably followed us up here and stayed, didn't he? You know what? He may have died to the local wildlife. That's fine. I will, oh no, here he is. That's right, we ran him south, didn't we? Alright, so we freeze him, and we just blow him up with the fireballs. Because we spawned him at a much lower level, he's gonna die quite easily. Alright, and on that note, I'm gonna head back to town and turn those in. But this will be the end of the first episode of our ATV Skater. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you're all excited, like I am, about a new playthrough. And I hope you all will continue to watch and play along with me. So thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.